So, welcome everybody to this very exciting webinar that we are doing today, where we have the City of Cologne and Joachim as well, who's part of my team, presenting about the case, and we will do this very interactive, so that's great. Before I start, I would like to do a big thank you to our partner CCNet, who's been involved in implementing, executing, and working with the City of Cologne on the Rocket.Chat project that we are doing together. And I'd like to thank Rene Jahnke, who is here from the City of Cologne. He's the solution architect. Rene is very passionate about giving customers new tools and improving their routines, and selecting and monitoring new technologies that can help and improve the relevance to their city. Next to Rene, you will see Joachim Haas, who's part of my team and is responsible as the sales director for Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Eastern Europe. Joachim has been in this trade for the last 30 years and is helping to spread the word on open source and secure communications with Rocket.Chat. Just some housekeeping. The audience can send questions in the chat. There's some people from Rocket.Chat that are monitoring this and helping out on the questions. Also, there will be a Q&A session at the end where you can ask questions to myself, Joachim, or Rene. And the live session will be recorded and will be sent as well afterwards. So just to start it off with a little bit of a light question here. So on the City of Cologne, for those of you who don't know, and I know, Joe, you lived there for a long time now. So maybe some explanation on the City of Cologne, and then afterwards over to you, Rene, because I'd like to get a little bit better understanding of how the city office helps with managing the city as well. I think we lost Rene there for a second, but over to you first, Joe.
Yeah, genau. So thank you very much, Peter, and also thank you, Rene, for this opportunity that I can talk about Cologne, my definitely beloved city. And for that, who knows a little bit Cologne, there has really some magic around, and I was always wanted to live there since a small boy, and I came from Bavaria, so Cologne is for me really the A&O. The funny stuff, it's a very, very old city. It's founded by the Romans, and I think when you was like me forced to learn Latin, then you learn very quick in a sentence, ubi bene, ibi Colonia. So where it's nice, it's just in Cologne, and I can definitely surround that. And when you know that's Cologne, it's definitely a cultural capital. So we name that like this. And when you stand in front of the dome, you feel very humble. And I think I can always encourage everybody just to visit this city, and it's fantastic, it's beautiful. But not that it's only a cultural capital, is also a kiosk capital. So we have the most smallest booth around in Germany, is all in Cologne. And that is the funny stuff, because that is really a communication hub. And we're talking today about communication. And these little areas where the Cologne people are standing around, taking the coffee, drinking beer, having their cigarettes and their newspaper, and they're talking. And that is really a very open and funny city, and it's very, very friendly. And I'm extremely excited to have them as a customer. And the funny stuff as well, it's that Cologne also hosted, the University of Cologne, which is also a customer from Rocket.Chat. So the city I loved and lived in, it's a customer, and the university I study, it's a customer. So it's perfect. So I'm very, very happy, and feel excited as well. And we are happy to show you what we did together with Rene for the City of Cologne. Thanks.
Yeah, from my side, thank you for the invitation and the possibility to speak from our side. And thank you for the showing the City of Cologne and our historical background. So my part now is to speak a little bit over the organization of the City of Cologne. In our core administration, we are about 20,000 employees. And additional to that, there are our city-owned companies and our daycare centers with much more employees. We are organized in a hierarchy as a tree structure, and there are a total of 9 departments with over 50 offices around the city. And one of these offices is the Office of Information Processing, in which I work. And since the start of the pandemic and really before that, the hybrid work has become increasingly important to the city of Cologne. Most of the employees are working at least 1 to 3 days the week from home. So it's very important to get a good communication. So this also poses a problem in communication. So far, our communication has been distributed over 4 channels. The first one is, of course, by email. The second one by phone. The third one is by just sending letters from one to another. And the last one is a direct exchange on site. And exactly that, this channel of direct exchange became less and less because of the hybrid working. So we needed a tool that can bring us together again, and luckily we found one with Rocket.Chat.
Awesome, thank you so much, Rene. I just with coming that you made a selection of tools and possible solutions that the City of Cologne could implement. So what were the major challenges that the City of Cologne faced when selecting a collaboration platform like this, or looking at a collaboration platform like this?
Yeah, it's like many other cities and countries in Europe. It's a problem with the GRPT, or the problem, the requirements of the GRPT. And we see that most of our colleagues are already now collaborative tools from their private everyday life, such as WhatsApp or Signal or Facebook Messenger, something like that. And so they also already know the way of communication, and they needed something like that in their working area. So since we are not able to give it to them yet, they switched they combined their private tools with the work, and that brought us some problems, because we call this shadow IT. We can't control if it's compliant and secure, so we really need a solution where we can say, yeah, this tool is legally, this is compliant, and you can use it when you upload an image or something like that. And yeah, this also improves the communication beyond the area of responsibility between our offices, and is also very important for projects. And at the same time, in the future, it will give us the opportunity to improve the contact to our citizens.
Perfect. It's actually quite an interesting point that you raised, Rene, about the security, and also this is something that we're seeing across the board in the rest of Europe, and actually in the US as well. But mainly in Europe, we see a major driver around this. And we have a couple of things that are really driving towards Rocket.Chat and secure collaboration platform that we are delivering. For example, the Swedish government, there's demand now to get off of cloud services. In the German government, we see the same thing happening actually around GDPR, data privacy, data protection. And in German schools and in Danish schools, we even see that solutions like Microsoft Office and Google Cloud are not even allowed anymore to be used. Specifically for the Cloud Act and the visibility on not controlling that data and data security anymore. Another trend that we see is actually trying to get rid of traditional communication channels. Rene mentioned that before as well. So email sometimes is a little bit broken. The way we communicate at home with tools like chat and WhatsApp and tools like that is something that we actually want in our daily life, in our daily operation as well. But that takes care of, that causes a lot of problems as well, because that takes care of shadow IT, and shadow IT has no control of data and data privacy anymore. But we still want to have that interoperability of me finding Rene when I'm at a different government agency. And that is something that we call interoperability. And it's driven by the Digital Makers Act. It's having messaging services from one brand to another brand connecting to each other. So you can find Rene and start communicating with that person, even if you're not on the same platform, which is a great functionality that drives away from having that broken communication like email and drives into direct communication like we're used to at home. So Joachim, maybe you can provide a little bit of background of what will Rene bringing us soon about their case. Next.
Yes, I'm more than happy to. So first of all, this is interesting because I can just summarize what you said, and it's very good. So first of all, we are a secure and compliant collaboration, communication platform. That is really the A and O. And saying that, we really start in many cases. So I had the chance to talk to over 100 existing and new customers. We're going through their requirements, and always it comes around the same. First is really security. It's the way how to onboard very easily, internally, externally, partners, employees and everything, how to get them extremely secure to the system. That is the first, that is really the collaboration part, the internal collaboration. Then the next part is very, very important, where we said this is fine when you have the part for internal, but how you want to connect an external employee, an external client and partner, and even a competition. Because nowadays the competition comes more and more and more. What that means, you combine the systems together, build up and very secure, just only one chat room where you can even work with your competition on research parts together, for example. So we have a client who do that for the energy market, who really, where the competitor works together just with these one company, allow them to search for new energy parts. And that is quite interesting. They do that with Rocket.Chat. So the next is when you have that is the one part to say, okay, this is the internal and the external. But the next part is very important to say, as Peter said and as Rene said, we are used to have our own chat system already. We are used to chat and work and talk with different tools to each other. So let them use it. That's fine. Let open the system and let them communicate with you in their way, with WhatsApp, with Twitter, or is that Musk, with Instagram, with Telegram, with whatever, with email, with phone, doesn't care. It's the way that we collect the information, and you stay in your system in Rocket.Chat. You answer everything what you need, and then the system goes bring it back in these various formats, either to WhatsApp, to Instagram, whatever. And that's all highly secure. This is a fantastic situation, and that is unique. Nobody is offering that in a way like we do, in such a very secure part. And the good stuff is everything, the whole part from internal, external, omni-channel, you can put in one application, your business application, totally white labeled. So that means you can build up a customer experience system for totally easy. So that is the way what we offer, and that is very flexible because it's totally open source, and the good stuff, it's all on-prem, and you can install it in your own data center or really in a server, or we can do that for you. But the data stay definitely in Europe or really under your table. Depends what you need. Super. That's it. Over to you, Peter.
Yeah, so we spoke about this a little bit before, Joachim, right? So it's the integration between the several communication layers that is very interesting. And Rene touched upon that very quickly when we had a call, what was it, 1.5 months ago. It's about connecting to the outside, right? So you call the kindergarten, so the childcare, the foyer, the fire departments, right? Connecting all that to the big City of Cologne, and start communicating with them also on a Rocket.Chat layer. But you cannot just do that just saying one-to-one. You need to have rules and regulation around that, and who can connect to what and who can see which part of the communication. And that's where we do that together with the Matrix supported protocol, where we take care of that interoperability part. So it's really great that we will start doing that and removing silos for the customers, communication silos, by integrating all those communication tools. So Rene, out of all of this, I just have a question on how is City of Cologne leveraging Rocket.Chat to deliver that, what you just said you're going to deliver for the citizens and for the employees, and what kind of phases do you have in the project so other people can learn from that as well?
Yeah. So we built 3 phases before we start the implementation. At first, we decided that all our core administration, I said before, it is about 20,000 users, should have the possibility to communicate with each other. And originally, we just planned to start with 5,000 licenses and just ramp up when the users get more. But at the end, the offer was so good and the internal demand was so high that we immediately added more and started with 16,000 already. And yeah, this was phase 1. And phase 2 is to connect with our intercompany teams, with our city-owned companies. That's very important cases of emergencies and all around managing and speaking with each other. And the 3rd phase will be the implementation of I start again with the 3rd phase. The implementation of the 3rd phase is a project for the future. And we hope to improve communication with all our citizens by that. This will also help us with our smart city project, which we are already started. And it will increase the interoperability with the citizen, as you mentioned before. And it will help us get relevant information from the citizens just faster, so that we also can help them faster. And yeah, another point of that is that we make an agreement for all our employees for the technical and organizational measures, so that the data protection and the security related issues are covered all the time. And to make a stop for uploading just every file, we use a MIME type filter of the Rocket.Chat, so that there's a limitation to just upload images, so that we are secure on that part too.
Awesome, thank you. And on the actually, when you were looking at a solution like this and a platform like Rocket.Chat, you must have compared other systems, and what were the requirements, the main requirements that led up to choosing the platform that Rocket.Chat is?
Yeah, because we have the GDPR compliance, we have to make some security. The most important things for us was to have a product that is open source and that can be operated on premise, just mentioned before from Joachim. And in 2018, we decided to test the chat program in our own office. So we are about 450 members. And the choice of Rocket.Chat was relatively random back then, but when the number of users rised up, we started to comprehensive the market and make an analysis. And we carried out in 2021 that Rocket.Chat was a very good choice from the beginning. And the major functions that we looking for was, on the one hand, the MIME type filter that I mentioned before to regulate the uploading of the files, and another one was the possibility to implement a virus scanner before uploading a file, and the 3rd one that really stood out for us was the automatical deletion of chats and files, just to compare with the data protection. So these 3 points are very important to us. And the last one that was a bonus for us is that Rocket.Chat also comes with live chat support. so when we start our third phase and we want to communicate with the citizens, that we don't have to start from scratch. So we can start from the Rocket.Chat default settings. And of course, I don't know what it would have been like with other products, but the performance and the stability of Rocket.Chat over the years was also convincing us all the time.
Thanks so much, Joe. Anything else to add with what Rene just mentioned?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so this we had at the moment. I have the opportunity and the luck to be allowed to talk to a bunch of bigger and smaller cities and Kommunen, and it's really interesting. It's more or less all the same issues, the same challenges where they have, and they said one is really the security. It's open source, which is just to prevent a vendor lock-in, so that you can definitely work with your code that is all owned by you, and that we are also very important to really open the system for the citizen. But there is in North Rhine-Westphalia is the initiatives that cities and Kommunen gets not pushed in a nice way to say, hey, please open yourself more for the citizen, get it more involved in the whole stuff. That is extremely important, and I think that's we have to break down the communication silos, and I think sometimes get back to our flow radio, which is in many cases also very important to get the information, let the people talk, help them really to build up the organization and get happy again in some cases. So that is I think which Rocket.Chat is definitely helping in all ways.
Awesome, and it's thank you for that, Joe. Thank you for that, Rene. Just to add to that, actually, it's interesting because I was watching the chat questions, and there was already one of the questions that arose, which is a nice bridge into the next topic. Is how was the onboarding process? Because it's a big chunk of users that will be using this platform. There's already a couple that are using it before. And now with the next implementation wave, it's even bigger. So how are you doing that onboarding process?
The onboarding process has developed a momentum of its own. As with many products, we started Rocket.Chat in our own office, as I just mentioned, with 450 people. And after a few months, however, we have more registration than employees. And then we noticed that the invitation link was also sent to other employees outside of our office. And then we just recognized that the number of users increased in this 2.5 years from 450 to 2,700. So 600% or something like that, or 700. A good product spreads by itself, and it was clear to us that we need for such a that we need a solution for the whole city, and that we have to act. And that was the point when we wanted to get in touch with you guys.
Awesome, thanks, Rene. So I think, and I've just checked how many people there are online, and it's quite interesting. There's a lot of potential customers and partners, and some customers dialing in. So I think it's very interesting for them to hear what kind of advice, what three parts of advice you could give if they would go on a journey with Rocket.Chat.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let me think about that. So I think one good advice to start with a product is always to connect with people who are in similar situations. So you can discuss about requirements such as security, data protection, number of users, internal, external communication, and just learn from each other. That's the best part when you implement a new product, that you can find others who have the same requirements. It's always good. And the second advice could be, I think I learned very much from the documentation of Rocket.Chat, and it's helped me a lot. But of course, like any other documentation, can't cover every special situation. And so if you find yourself you need help, then just reach out to the Rocket.Chat team or the community and get in touch with them and get their amazing support.
Awesome.
And the third advice, last one, is just to make your own experience. We connected with other cities and countries, and they used other messaging services, and at last the requirements you have to fit in your city and your company, and at the end all of the solutions can communicate with each other. So just try it out.
Awesome advice for the team. Just before, and really thank you for the openness, Rene and Joachim here. So before we go into the questions, and I saw already some interesting questions that I'd love to get some answers on, Rene. Before we go to that, I'd like to invite everybody that's in the audience to our next webinar, which is on the 14th of December. On how to build secure chat experiences that convert and retain the user. So it would be great if you want to participate to click on the button that is launched by our Rocket.Chat marketing team, and that is now to save your seat. So it's quite easy to do so, and it would be great to see you there as well. But before you leave, we still have some questions for you, Rene, here. So I think one of the questions that I just have seen here is if you were able to integrate SMS and email as a use case into Rocket.Chat as well.
We didn't try it yet, but I read it in the documentation, and we implemented the email connection so that we can send emails to our employees. But we haven't checked it out with the SMS. So I'm looking forward to see what it brings, and I think it would be working seamlessly.
Awesome. And on the other question that I see here is when you implemented Rocket.Chat and you use Rocket.Chat, were there other, so my light is even dimming now, were there other tools that you replaced by implementing Rocket.Chat? And if so, what kind of tools were they that you replaced at the end?
No, there are no other tools. Of course, some other products bring a chat tool with them that we all also use in our city. But there were no program or no service that have a chat program that has the range of the whole city. You can write with a member of your project or maybe with a member of your office, but there was never the possibility, besides from email, to write something to the whole city.
Okay. Okay, it's good to know. And there's another question from Michael or Michael. I'm not entirely sure, so maybe you can type some details around that. But if you get new collaboration tools, would you integrate them in Rocket.Chat? Have you done so already within the city?
Yeah, this is one of the plans we have. There are tools that I'm not sure if I could mention them now, but it's on our way that we implement Rocket.Chat as an iframe or directly in the web browser and use it in all our other products that they can connect with the Rocket.Chat server internally and write with each other without opening the Rocket.Chat window. So yes, we we want to implement Rocket.Chat and other solutions, but we haven't yet implement a collaboration tool into Rocket.Chat itself, something like the video conferencing or something like that. We haven't done it yet, but maybe it's a plan for the future.
Okay, it's an interesting one, Rene. You already answered the next question a little bit, but I can answer that as well, because it's a more generic question. If Rocket.Chat allows video chat and video conferencing to be built into Rocket.Chat, and Scott, I can say yes, and we're specifically doing that with some of our partners. One of the major partners that we're doing that with, that is exactly doing this highly secure and on-premise securing GDPR data as well, is, for example, Paxib. And we have a tight integration with them and in multiple use cases. Actually, it's interesting because the live chat part that Rene mentioned on the citizen engagement, we're also now seeing that people want to have live chat and video integrated as well, so they can start a video when they're logging into the portal or logging into the live chat, and then want to talk to an agent or somebody that works at the City of Cologne at the end to solve more complex problems, like a building permit or something like that, which is all still future, but it's some things that we've spoken about with City of Cologne as well. Any other questions from the people that are on the other side? If not, then I still see 1 second. So I still see another question now coming up, Rene. So it's what adaptations, integrations have you built to make Rocket.Chat fit in the City of Cologne?
Yeah. I didn't know if I understand the question right, but we have to implement a component that our security team was giving us. They said that that Rocket.Chat itself shouldn't be the service provider on its own, and so we gave the requirement to have a microservice that just connects with our proxy and plays a part of the service provider for us. Luckily, the partner of Rocket.Chat, CCNet, just implemented that for us, and thanks a lot for that. Yeah, we are really happy with that. I hope that answered the question a bit.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So for the rest of the audience here, I think that's the official part of it. I first of all like to thank Rene very much and Joachim very much to participate in this. Thank you for the openness, Rene. I really think it helped a lot of people on the other side by selecting and how to implement and what types of advice you have. But it's not done yet, in that sense that we can still continue the conversation. So there's a poll that you can use where you can ask for more information about Rocket.Chat, and you can fill in that poll, which helps because then we can get in contact with you about it. But there's also a channel in Rocket.Chat that you can use where we will be participating. If there's any additional information after that, that you can just share, talk through, and ask Rene, ask Joachim, ask the rest of the Rocketeers to support you in your journey and other questions that are related to this webinar. So the link is just shown here, and it's also probably set in the chat as well. So it would be really interesting to meet you up in Rocket.Chat to keep the conversation going. And I'd like to thank you again, and looking forward to the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.